Hi everyone, welcome back to the Movie Reviewers 100. My name's Scott, also known as Cineram. I do the Thursday reviews for this collaboration channel. We have a different theme every single week, and this week our theme is Morgan Freeman, one of the most revered actors alive today. He's got multiple Oscar nominations, played Nelson Mandela, won a supporting actor for $1 Million Baby, been nominated a bunch of other times beyond that. A real regal presence in films. You know, he classes up the joint quite a bit, I think we could say. I had something of a dilemma this week, is because the movies that I was thinking about reviewing kept getting reviewed by the other guys who come before me. Big Al led off the week with The Shawshank Redemption, which is, you know, a classic from 1994. And then on Sunday, Ray did Seven, one of my favorite movies of all time. I was thinking of maybe doing Street Smart, but then James ended up doing it on Tuesday. In the meantime, Ian on Monday, he did Lucky Number 11, which Morgan Freeman co-starred with Josh Hartnett and Bruce Willis and Ben Kingsley. I seen that like one time. On Saturday, EJ did Kiss the Girls. So I didn't have one particular movie that I wanted to review, so I ended up renting a few of them. One of which was a film that Morgan Freeman did with Ashley Judd called High Crimes. Of course, in Kiss the Girls, Morgan Freeman is the detective Alex Cross, who is working with a kidnapping victim played by Ashley Judd. And she wasn't in the follow-up to that. Along Came a Spider. Monica Potter was Morgan Freeman's principal co-star in that one, because Morgan Freeman played Alex Cross in both those movies. But Ashley Judd went on to make High Crimes with Morgan Freeman a little bit later. So I looked at that one again because I'd only seen it like one time. Jim Caviezel is also in that movie. Adam Scott, Amanda Peet. It's a legal thriller. It's fun. One movie that I was thinking about looking at that I hadn't seen in a very long time was the Best Picture winner, Driving Miss Daisy. And when that movie came out, I was 16 years old, and I wasn't really all that interested in liking it, actually. It just seemed like a nice movie about nice people made for nice people who like nice movies, and that's, you know, pretty much all there was to it. I figured it might be something I could appreciate a little bit better now, seeing as how last year I reviewed The Straight Story for my David Lynch series and liked it a whole lot more than when I first saw it. So I ended up rewatching the movie and not liking it that much more. Maybe just a little bit more, but really there's very, very little that happens in this movie. It takes place over a long period of time, stretching from, say, like the early 50s all the way to the 70s. Morgan Freeman is Hoke. He actually gets billing above Jessica Tandy. He's top billed in this movie. I was surprised by that. I thought that Jessica Tandy would be the top billed star in it. Jessica Tandy, of course, won Best Actress that year for playing Miss Daisy, who's this well-to-do a Jewish woman in Georgia, lives in Georgia, and she has an accident in the beginning of the movie, drives her car the wrong way out of her house, and so her son, Dan Aykroyd, who is a businessman, hires Hoke, played by Morgan Freeman, to be her chauffeur, and she's very resistant to the idea at first, doesn't want to be reliant on other people, you know, likes to do things herself. Of course, she's set at a household with a small staff of people working there, cooking and cleaning and things like that. But she wants to be, you know, self-reliant. And she's very resistant, but eventually she does let Hoke drive her around. And over the course of many years, which are sort of like, you know, sort of like a hop, skip, and jump along the timeline here, it's really hard to tell exactly how much time passes, because Morgan Freeman starts out with gray hair, and at the end he's got gray hair and he's got glasses with thick lenses. But there's a sort of friendship that develops over time. He is the person that she ends up spending the most amount of time with during this period in her life. And so they are friends, basically. But there isn't a whole lot that happens. They go on a trip out of state, and then they come back, and they talk a little bit about different things, but mostly it's just him making sure that she's okay, and that she is somewhat demanding and a little bit of an annoyance at times in the way she orders people around. You know, it's just sort of her, she's always talking about how, you know, we didn't have nothing when I grew up. You know, I know the value of $1. It's like, yes, ma'am, I understand. Morgan Freeman's performance in this is extremely gentle. It's a lot of smiling and chuckling and yes sir, yes ma'am, blah blah, this and that. You know, very, very gentle character, gentle performance. After seeing that movie, I immediately saw another one of his movies called Lean on Me, which came out the same year. And the contrast between these two performances is unbelievable. In Lean on Me, Morgan Freeman plays Joe Clark, who in, I think it was 1987, took over a New Jersey high school that was, you know, like last in the district, dead last as far as student achievement. You know, graduating seniors amounted to like less than like 30% of the whole students. Everyone else is like being held back or dropping out, whatever, getting involved in gangs, drugs. Every single hallway is littered with trash and graffiti. So he comes in there and he just lays the hammer down. He picks up a megaphone and just starts screaming at everyone and telling them to get in line and do the thing or face the consequences. He ends up disciplining and firing teachers because they question his methods. And he's got the fire, man. He's just, you know, there is just no stopping him. And the whole plot of the movie comes about how he's trying to get the students to buckle down and really concentrate so that they can pass their standard achievement tests. There needs to be a minimum of 75% of the kids in the class passing this test in order for the school to stay in the hands that it's in and not be taken over by the state, and who knows what's going to happen at that point. So the whole thing is about, you know, him sort of rallying all the teachers and all the students to take pride in what they need to accomplish and get it done. One of the key tripping points for him is the fact that there's still gang activity and drugs in the neighborhood, and so they end up infiltrating the school at certain points. So he decides to violate fire code and put chains and padlocks on all the doors once school starts, and to keep it that way until school lets out. And this, of course, is illegal. And there's this whole scheme involving one of the parents who got her student kicked out, and the mayor and the fire chief all sort of conspiring to catch him in the act and get him arrested so he can get thrown out before he can get the test scores up again. Yeah, decent movie. It's directed by John G. Alvidsen, who did Rocky and The Karate Kid. He's known for this sort of inspirational drama type of thing. Yeah, and Morgan Freeman, like I said, between that and Dryden Miss Daisy, night and day as far as his acting goes. Just night and day. He's just a powerhouse in Lean on Me. I also rented Glory. I haven't actually gotten around to seeing that. I thought maybe I'd watch that later today. Glory is a movie which I've loved for a long time, ever since it first came out. Set during the Civil War. Morgan Freeman is one of a group of soldiers in an all-African-American unit that's being led by Matthew Broderick. There's a couple of people in this movie, of course, Denxel Washington and Andre Braugher, the two most prominent members of the cast that went on to have big careers. And I really liked one of the guys in the cast a lot. When I heard that Denxel Washington got supporting actor nomination, I was like, yeah, that's great, he totally deserves it. Then I realized that the guy I was paying attention to was actually Andre Braugher and not Denxel Washington. Denxel Washington plays the cocky troublemaker of the group, and Andre Braugher is the guy who's sort of like, you know, sort of like following the rules and always, you know, sort of ridiculed by the other guys for obeying the white man too much, I guess you could say. I really liked him a lot in the movie, and I was disappointed that Denxel was getting all the attention. Not that Denxel Washington was good, but I sort of identified more with the Andre Braugher character, so I wanted him to get the recognition. Of course, Andre Braugher went on to have a big career anyway, so it's cool. Morgan Freeman, of course, is sort of the senior member of the troupe. There's a really great scene before the final battle at the end where they're all gathered around a campfire, all the African-American soldiers in the unit, and they're they're all singing a song and taking turns praying for victory the next day. And Morgan Freeman has his bit, and Denxel, after some encouragement, has his bit and everything like that. And then there's the big battle at the end with the great score by James Horner. The movie was directed by Edward Zwick, who went on to do The Last Samurai and Courage Under Fire, which Denxel Washington was also in. But Glory is a fantastic movie, really great picture, one that I'll always like. Yeah, I just thought I'd watch a whole bunch of his stuff rather than focus on one particular movie. If I had to recommend one out of any of the bunch, it would probably be Glory. Lean on Me is good, plenty good, of course. High Crimes, kind of a conventional movie, but, you know, I like courtroom movies, legal thrillers, they're fun. Driving Miss Daisy wouldn't be the first movie I'd recommend. But if you're a nice person who likes nice movies about nice people, you'll probably like it a lot. Me, I'm not that crazy about it. Never have been. I mean, it went up against Born on the 4th of July for Best Picture, and I really wanted Born on the 4th of July to win, because it's just like, yeah, you know. I wasn't interested in movies like that. You know, I mean, like Driving Miss Daisy back then. You understand, you know. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. We've got a new theme starting next week. I hope you'll tune in for that. Thank you very much, and be sure and check out the other guys' videos, because it's been a really good week. Later.